failure is not an option. Or is it? Today's guest, Laurie Lon, breaks down why failure has helped her business and how finding your why creates better focus behind the chair. Welcome back, friends. You're listening to Salon Edition Podcast.
How's your day so far?
Good. I'm actually in my suite right now. I sound scratchy because I've got some sinus stuff going on, but I'm here. I
Girl,
hope
don't we all?
they actually liked my raspy voice, so there's that.
Yay. How long have you been in your suite?
I've been in the suite for like 2 years, but I'm switching. I'm gonna still stay in the same like suite area, but I'm switching suites with someone else because I'm gonna get a bigger one.
Oh, nice. Do you have like double ones or like whatever? Or
So, like, so this one is like owned by a corporate company, but it wasn't. It got bought out like right as I was like coming in. And so some of the suites, I wouldn't consider them necessarily like doubles, but they're just like bigger sizes. They're not all the same. And mine's kind of like a box. But
oh,
the other one is like more of like a rectangle. So I think I'll be able to get two chairs in there, which I think will help me with like when I'm like double booking and different things. So
do
hopefully
you
getting
want
it.
like a suite mate or do you want to just stay by yourself?
Um, I don't know. I'm open to anything. I'm like just enjoying the journey, Courtney. I don't know. So you never know because I feel like you never say never, right? So
Yeah,
it could happen.
that's awesome. Yay. Well, thanks for hopping on this podcast. I just saw you like a month ago. That just seems like it was way longer than that. I don't know about you, but like after Nashville, I was like, I feel like life has just been psycho, but that's fine. So introduce yourself and say hi to everyone.
I thought you were gonna introduce me like da, da,
I
da, da,
mean,
da.
okay, this is the star of the show, Laurie Lon. She's extraordinarily amazing. She's in North Carolina. I don't know where, but I know you're in North Carolina.
No, I'm technically South Carolina because I'm outside of Charlotte. Yeah. No, it's no big deal. Charlotte's like right on the border, so I'm just in the suburbs, girl. But yeah, Laurie Lawn, hair extraordinaire. No, I just
I mean, you are like,
so yeah, I always suck at introductions, I feel like, because I'm not good at like doing the whole braggy, like stuff on yourself. And or that at least that's how I feel like. But I don't know. I've been in the hair industry since I always joke with my clients and say legally since 2006 because really I started working in the salon in high school.
yeah.
So just assisting and learning the ropes. And then, yeah, I just kind of went from there. So this is really all I know how to do, Courtney. So I,
You
I
know,
don't
it's funny because like I feel like that's kind of like most of us as hairstylists, right? Like I mean, we're not like a one-trick pony. Obviously, we have great things up our sleeves,
yeah,
but like for a lot of us, we came out of like high school,
yeah.
and just did this. I didn't. I actually went to college for like a hot second. I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here, and then quit. And then like I didn't even know. Like I just ended up randomly doing
Well, me
like
too.
reception work. So
Yeah. I went to college for a year too. And I had this crazy religion teacher. I signed up for religion class and she was kind of crazy. And I was like, I don't want to be in here. And so I was like, I've got to find another credit to replace this. And the college that I went to had a really big theater program. So I signed up for stage makeup. And I thought, oh, well, that'll be an easy class because I've already worked in a hair salon before in high school, and I ended up just loving that class and looking so forward to it. So I was like, what am I doing here? So I dropped out, went to cosmetology school.
my
Yeah.
gosh. So how long have you been doing like the makeup end? Because okay, so your Instagram is Laurie Lawn Hair and Makeup. Okay,
Yep.
so if you want to
So
follow her on Instagram, Laurie Lawn Hair and Makeup. So how did you get into like both hair and makeup? I know you did like the stage makeup. Is that what started all of that,
yeah,
or?
so doing stage makeup started that. So I started honestly the minute I got my certificate, my license, I just went right into hair and makeup. So the first salon that I worked at, I didn't have to assist after cosmetology school because I had already assisted before I went to cosmetology school. So I just like went right on into having a chair. And the guy that owned that salon, he did a ton of weddings. And I just that's just kind of how it rolled. I just started doing like makeup for the weddings, hair for weddings, things like that. So I just kind of built that side of my business. And it really just, I mean, we both do hair extensions. That's what we're passionate about. I think it just kind of led into that as well, because then you're putting clip-ins on people and things like that. And so you start getting like your hands in it. And then later on in life, I had some real bad haircuts and I got hair extensions myself, and then fell in love with them, started doing them. And so I'm the type of person, when I get really into something, like I'm all in. And so then I just started taking like all the classes I could take to learn how to do everything. And it just, I think I'm just that type of person where it's like, if this is what interests me, then that's becomes like what I'm super passionate about. So how I've kind of like evolved in my career, I don't do min cuts. I don't do, things like that anymore. I just, when people ask me what I guess I specialize in, it's like any of the glamorous stuff. So hair, makeup, extensions, that sort of thing, like the girly glamorous things. So
That's fun. Do you have extensions in right now?
no. I just took them out because I had them in when
Wait,
I
that's all yours?
Yeah, so this is my hair.
My God.
Yes, I just took my extensions out because I had them in when I saw you.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I'll take it. I'm like one of those people, I'm like, I'll have them in, then I won't. Then I'll switch up my color, which is essentially switching up my gloss. So, yeah. What about you? Do you have them in right now?
I had like a weft, like one piece. And so yeah, but that's gonna come out and probably, so I got that done actually in Nashville. So that'll probably get like
Okay.
taken out somewhere in the next probably 5 weeks or so. I'll wear it until I can't wear it anymore. And then take it out for the rest of the summer. But I'll be in and out of the pool and stuff. So I just prefer not to have to mess with it. I had a whole head of 3 rows of sewn in last summer, and I was like, never again.
Gosh. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're going on a vacation, and I know that we'll be on the boat a lot.
Yeah.
And normally I'm the type of person where I'll go to the beach and I just lay out and I don't even like get my hair wet or anything. I'm just like a little beach bum. But because I know that we're going to be doing all these active things, I was like, I'll just take them out for that and then I'll just put them back in later. So
I'm feeling rough because like I took off all lash extensions. I have 1 row of hair and I'm like, but we were on the boat last year and my lashes, like they felt like they were gonna like fly off of my eyes. And I was like, I can't do that again. I can't do it this year. It was awful. And I was like, it was like caked against my face when I like got off the boat. And I was like, wow,
I
we're
don't
not
have
doing it.
any lashes and nail, but I do have a funny story. So I used to wear lashes nonstop and for years. And when I met my husband, he met me with like hair extensions, lashes, all these things, And so I just assumed he thought it was all real. And watching TV one night and I had this one rogue lash that was like driving me crazy and I kept messing with it. And I saw him at the side of my eye looking at me and I was like, I know you think my lashes are real, but they're not. And I just have this one that's bothering me. And he was like, Laurie, I never once thought anything was real. But they were pretty voluminous. So I don't know why I thought that like,
I woke up like this.
right.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yay. Well, so I want to know what you wanted to talk about today.
Yeah. So, um, for me, I felt like this is more of a podcast for stylists, right? Like
Yes.
people that are in this industry and I love the beauty industry. I feel like there's so much, things that you could take away from anyone, right? So for me, I think the biggest thing that I would be able to share with someone is just understanding your why and why you're in the industry and what motivates you and what makes you feel that passion for something. And then just not being scared to fail. Those are my two things. Like, so for me, I feel like the why constantly changes, right? Because like, I mean, I already shared with you, I've been doing this since I was in high school. So my why when I was like 17 and in high school is completely different than it is now. And everyone's going to be different, right? So like, that's what makes it special and unique to all of us. So, I mean, my why when I was 17 and making minimum wage was like so different. I was like just excited to have like gas money and the salon that I worked at and and it was, you know, the early 2000s. So that was a real big deal, Courtney. I didn't have to pay for my tan. I didn't have to pay for my hair. All the girls would do my hair for me and stuff. And so I was like all these perks. I didn't have to work super late like a lot of my friends. Like I could get off at like 7 or 8 o'clock and, you know, like all these things. And so I was just like, I loved my job. You know, I felt so glamorous. And then, but of course, like now, you know, life changes. I'm not 17 anymore. Shocker, I'm sure, for anyone watching this. Like, but yeah, so like, I mean, I have a family. I've got like 2 daughters. They're 13 and 15. And so my why is really wrapped up into like my faith, my family, all of those things. Just because we all evolve as people and different things become more important to us. But I think especially having daughters, just being an example for them. Like they see like their mom, like having her own business and making her own schedule and helping people. I mean, and this is, and I might cry, I'm going to try not to, but I'm a big crier. So like Mother's Day just happened and they were like, what do you want? What do you want for Mother's Day? And I was just like, I don't know what your love language is, but have you ever read that? The love language
Yes,
book?
the 5 love languages.
Yes. So mine is words of affirmation and physical touch. And so I was like, write me a note. I just want a sweet note from you guys. And they wrote me these, so like, I mean, I was like, I may need a moment, like kind of notes. It was so sweet and cute. But both of them, and it really touched me, but both of them said like that something that they admired about me was how much I care for people. And like they have like both grown up in this industry, seeing their mom work and stuff. And, you know, I'll bring them to the salon occasionally and they see what I do, right? So and then I had Cynthia in here just like last week, my younger one, and I was doing her highlights while another client of mine was processing. So she's like watching and they're observing and they see things. And they both said that they just loved how much I care for my clients and like how much I care about people. And I thought, you know, that's really touching to me to like be that example for them that like, you know, you can be like anything you really want to be. And you can honestly just, if you're passionate about something, like you can do it, you can make it your career, you can make money, you can like, so I'm like the breadwinner in the family and, being able to be a woman and be like all of those things and I'm still like able to go to volleyball games with my kids and able to go to the gymnastics competitions and able to be there for them. And so like everything I do is really, it's about them, but it's also about like, it's about the other women too, like the other women that come in the door and, you know, making them feel good and making them feel, you know, amazing. And you know, if they've had a bad day, you know, you go to the salon, you get your hair done, you feel amazing. You know, you have like a hot date, you go and get your hair done, you feel amazing, or your makeup or whatever. And job interviews, all the things. Like I love like being around women and helping women. And I feel like that's like where like God's kind of brought me to be in life, is to be like that for women, you know, like just to be around them, to encourage them. And because I work in a suite, I have like so many private conversations with people. And so I feel like I know my clients on a different level. than just like if I were in a big salon, which there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with that, but it is what it is. Like you're in a private room, people open up more. And so I've heard, the cancer stories and the breakups, the divorces, all of the bad things. But then I've been there with people through like new relationships too. I've had clients that I've been there with them through their divorce, through their new marriage, through their babies, like all of these things. And it's like an amazing journey to be able to just like be that like comfort for someone and for them to feel like they just feel special,
Yeah.
just to make someone feel special. And so I joke a lot about like my why being money. So I joke like
It
whenever we're
always is.
right, whenever we're in like classroom or something, I'm like, oh, money, but yeah, of course. I mean, I do have a family to provide for, right? Like, of course. So that's always part of it. And I don't think there's any shame in saying that either. I mean, it is a business. And I think like you have to own it. And as much as I do care for my clients, I still charge them. They are my clients. And again, that goes right back to my kids. I hear so many times like, and I'm sure you do too, because you teach as well. And so I'm sure you get the same questions in class. They're the same concerns, like women, that are hairstylists and they want to move up, but they don't want to move up their prices.
Yeah.
Or, things like that. And I'm like, girl, why? Why not? Because I think if you sit down and you truly think, why am I doing what I'm doing? I mean, money is a factor, right? You have to make a living.
Absolutely.
And like when you sit there and you're like going through like all those things, I have to be able to afford to take my kids to these volleyball tournaments and these gymnastics competitions and for them to have a roof over their head and all of those things. Like I have to be able to be that for them. So when I'm sitting there doing my pricing, like I'm thinking about them in my head. And I think like sometimes we think so much about, I'm going to feel bad if this client or, if this person or that. And it's like, no, like that client, if they value you as much as you value them, they're not going to care about that little bit of a price increase or, you know what I'm saying? And it's all about building that relationship. And so, I feel like I'm going off on a tangent now, but no, I think like it can be different for everyone. I think for me, it's more about, just if I put it in perspective as to why I'm doing what I'm doing, then all of the other worries, concerns, questions, they just kind of fall into place.
Yeah.
If I make that, like if I'm sitting down and I'm like doing my pricing, just this past year, I went up on my prices and I had to sit down and, do all the numbers and everything. But if I question and I say, oh gosh, well, that was the number that I came up with, but I don't know, it makes me feel a little uneasy. And I think, no, what is my why? It's my kids, it's my this, it's my that. And I put it in perspective, then I'm like, okay, they're not going to care about that $5 increase on this or something. And so I think it's like you always have to come back to, what motivates you. And for me, it's like my family. And I just put everything else in God's hands. And I just, I feel like he's going to bring me the clients that I'm supposed to have. Right. Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's how I look at it. And I've been really, really blessed to have amazing clients along the way. And I just think that girl, it's just him. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing though. Like when you talk to a lot of people in the industry, their why typically starts out kind of the same. It's like, we're an industry that I think thankfully has been changing for the better. But I think that our industry, like people were shocked, that we were able to make money. Like that's a job that you just get out of high school because you didn't want to go to the military and you didn't want to get married or, like all the stigmas, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like, that thankfully is very much changing. And, my husband even said the same thing to me when we were dating, 8 years ago now. Well, 9, I guess, if we were dating, but, so yeah, it was like, oh, I didn't realize that you could make like a living out of this. Like you can support yourself. And I was like, yeah, like, and you can. I mean, you can choose to make as much or as little as you want to make. I mean, that's the beauty of the industry. You can work as much or as little as you want. You can raise your prices to where you want them to. You can still stay in the basement if you want to. Like that's your prerogative, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the why, the motivation behind a lot of people is, you know, both financial, but also I want to set myself up for the flexibility and the work-life balance and the, you know, all the amazing things that the industry gives us. I
Yeah.
was the person that when I first started in the hair industry, this beautiful lady kept stalking me. I was working as a receptionist at a school, and she kept coming in and getting her kids and kept talking to me about like, don't you want to come work for me? Don't you want to come work for me? I was like, how do you know what you do? You know? And she's like, well, I own a hair salon. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to do hair. You know, it didn't even occur to me that I could be a receptionist or wash hair or whatever. Like it just, I was like, well, I don't do hair. She said, no, but I'm looking for a new receptionist. I was like, oh, okay. And well, the time came that I needed a new job, and I just reached out just randomly, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you still need somebody, but I'm available. Like I'd like to work, you know. And she called me like literally 2 days later, and she's like, can you start tomorrow? And I was like, huh? Uh-huh. And so I ended up doing hair behind the chair because as a receptionist, I watched people walk in, mostly women, but sometimes men too. Guys, y'all feel the same way in some other fashion form or another. You don't vocalize it, it's fine, but like you're there. But women, especially, we wear it on our sleeves, right? They would walk in and they're just like super dejected, real bummed out. They sit in the chair and they're like, just fix me. Like, you know, they're sad about their hair or whatever.
Mhm.
And I always have a saying when I do teach classes, I'm like, if your hair ain't right, your husband ain't right, your car ain't right, your kid ain't right, your like nothing is right, right? But it's because your hair ain't right. And I watched these women, I mean, fork over a credit card like nothing, you know, and just walk out like Beyonce. And I was like, so people really do feel this way. And of course, you know, as working there, you do get the added benefit of getting your hair done for free. You know, so send me $10 for the color, you know, whatever. But, you know, so it's like, you know, when I got my hair professionally done, I was like, oh dang, I get it. Like that I sign me up. Like where do I recruit? Like, you know, like so I get that because there are so many amazing benefits to doing hair, but I love this is part of my why as well. Like I love being able to show somebody how beautiful they really are, you know, and we have the ability through our words, through our touch, through doing what we do. Like, you know, we're one of the few industries that actually physically touches people. And I think it's very cool that we not only like are able to speak to their soul, but we're able to physically touch them. And I think that the world needs like hashtag me too, but like we need more physical touch with permission. But like because I feel like we are becoming a society that's like very like ostracized from each other and everything. And I love that part of my job is being able to sit them down and actually like put my hands in their hair, on their shoulders and say, what am I doing to you today? Like, what is it? Like, if you can have your dream hair, like, tell me all the things. And like, let's make that possible for you. So, and I love that. I love that you have like that family tie as well. I mean, your family does come first, you know, you have God and family, you know, and the rest, like you said, falls into place. And I think that it's really important as stylists to kind of keep those in the forefront of our mind. And it's okay to have that change. Like you said, when you were 17, it's changed from now until, you know, your 20th birthday. So, um, like, you know, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. So tell me about this fear of failure that you had.
Well, wait, I have to tell you this though, with the
Okay.
physical touch, I cannot agree more because I think like with that being one of my love languages, that's like something that I always incorporate into just what I do because everyone, it doesn't matter what you're getting done, you're getting a scalp massage from me. And people love that, but it's like my little extra way to make them feel special because it's like you said, it's like I think that we all crave that, especially now more than ever. And I'm such a hugger. I hug people, like
Same.
all of those things. And so, no, I could not agree more with that. And just the way that, you know, you see someone, the way they respond and the way that they feel good about themselves and they walk out the room and they can feel like whatever, like you said, whatever is going on. I love that. If you're hearing it right, nothing's right. Like it's like so true because that's literally like you have someone coming in and they could have like a million and one problems, but now their hair is not one of them, right? So it's like I love that. But but yeah, moving on to failure, I think that's like something that we all kind of struggle with a little bit. It's like, and I don't know if it's just maybe maybe it's changing now. I don't feel like cosmetology school set me up for the failure that I was gonna like have in life. But there's I the first salon that I worked at, right? Like after I'm got behind the chair now, I'm feeling good. I've already done my assisting and all this. You're gonna have crazy clients, right? You're gonna have like people that just maybe aren't meant for you, and that's okay. I think like I went through this phase early in my career where I felt like if I didn't please every single person, then I was failing. Or if I hadn't made it to this level by this time or this day or whatever, then it's like then I'm failing. Or and I definitely have like kind of an all or nothing personality type. And I think that can be good and bad. Like I can get like really focused and into something and passionate, and kind of like I did with hair extensions. And I just was like all in. And then like that really helped me obviously in life. But then I think there can be a downside to that too, where it's like if you feel like there's something that's not quite right, then you just are like, oh gosh, and I'm failing, or something. And even like sometimes I think we have like a mindset that you don't think you can move forward. And you can, I think it's like, it really all comes down to mindset. And if you're okay with just like, okay, I know that I'm going to fail at something at some point and it's okay. And I'm going to learn from this and see it as like a learning opportunity versus just like, I'm going to fall apart and I'll never do that ever again, then you're going to be great. But it's like, if you just have this like complete fear of failure all the time, like, I mean, and I tell people this in class all the time too, when I'm like teaching hair extensions and they've never done it before. And they're like, how in the world do you get done in 2 hours? I'm like taking forever doing this one row, and it's like, well, do you remember that first highlight that you did that took you, 3 hours and looked brassy and maybe there was some breakage and everything?
Tiger
Like,
spots.
Right. Just remember that. And then and how far you've come to where you are now, and how now you can do like this amazing highlight and make everyone look great. Right. So it's going to happen. Like you're going to have like struggles, but that's okay, because I think there's a lot that you learn in that struggle if you're just open to it. And I think for me, like that first salon that I worked at as a stylist, the owner had and he was great. He was really great. I learned a lot from working there, but I think it was a lot of pressure at that salon to be the best. And and again, it's like it was a great opportunity for me, and I don't have like a regret necessarily working there or anything like that, but there was just a lot of pressure at that salon to be the best. Like it was the best one to be at. Here I am, like fresh out of school with my own chair because I've already assisted before, and and all these things, right? And so it's like all this pressure. And so for me, like if I messed up on a toner, I would like freak out and be like, oh gosh, I messed up on the toner. And then I would say, you know what? I'm going to do a free treatment for you real quick. And then it's like you're lying to your client instead of just saying like, girl, you know what? This toner took way different than I predicted. I'm going to go mix something else up. Just hold tight 1 second. Okay. Like now I say that and I have no like shame in saying that. Right. Because like sometimes that happens. Sometimes like we formulate, it's like essentially like a educated guess, because you're just going off of what you see, what you know about, their porosity, their density, all these things. Right. But then like, they may take real ash and you would put gold in that formula and you're thinking, what in the world just happened? But like, that's where I feel like I was, early on in this kind of situation where I felt like I had to be perfect all the time. And I think sometimes like we can put that in our own minds as well. And you just have to take a step back and be like, it's going to be okay. Like, it's okay to say, hey, that toner didn't take how I thought. Let me make something else up real quick for you. I want to make sure that you're 100% happy before you leave, or whatever the case is. Like, and not having to feel like you're somehow less than if you had to do that or something. And I think there's just been a lot of things in my life where, I've been through a divorce. Like like that was a failure in my personal life. That's how I saw it. I've been through like, all these different things, like being a single mom and, and of course now I'm married and I'm happy and all of those things. But, I've been through a lot of different things in life. And I think sometimes like, how we view work, how we view like failure in general, if you're viewing it as like this, thing that's going to be be judged on forever, then you're not taking it as like an opportunity to just learn and grow from it. And now, like, because I've been through all of these struggles in life, when someone else comes in and they're sitting in my chair and they're going through something, I can truly sympathize with them and be there for them, and they know that I care. And so I think that leads into just like even just being a better stylist, because I've already been through like other failures too. And maybe it's a different situation. Maybe it's not the same thing that they're going through, but you can sympathize. You can feel like that emotion for someone else. And it just, yeah, it makes you better at what you do, because it's like, hey, like we've all been through something in life, right? We've all had to like, pull ourselves up out of something and, start again. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think like if you're constantly worried about what could go wrong, then you're never really thinking about what could go right. And so I think in life, I've just had to, and I'm glad I learned all of this stuff in my 20s because like, I feel like my 30s have been amazing, but like, yeah, I feel like I left that old salon. I worked at a couple of different places just trying to find like my right vibe and niche and everything. And I've worked at some amazing places. Now I'm in a suite by myself, and it's been great. And who knows, might get an assistant soon. I don't know. And so, I mean, there's always going to be some kind of next step, right? There's always going to be a next step. There's always going to be another journey. And I think as long as you're like open to it and you're not scared to take a leap, then really like, because you can't get a reward if you're not open to the reward, right? Like you can't, like, how are you gonna ever like get to that next step if you're not open to it, if you're always scared of what could go wrong? So I think like that's something that I've just had to learn personally over the years, is like, and I know I'm sound like a broken record, but I just gotta let God take care of it. I'm just like, I mean, he's brought me this far, and I don't know, like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, one of those things where it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. And there's only so much you as a human can control or should control, both work, and so allowing whatever it is to just happen sometimes is just what has to happen. And, Jesus take the wheel, and lead me somewhere. But yeah, I mean, it's very, very true. I mean, there's only so much you can do. I was actually fired from a salon. I feel like we mutually fired each other. It was a long time coming, but it happened. And I immediately just was like, okay, well, what do I do now? And a lot of people would have been like, wow, you really failed on that one, didn't you? You got fired. No, actually, like I don't see it as that. Like I saw it as an actual kind of a welcome break. Like I clearly needed it. I wanted it. It happened. And yeah, I had like 24 hours to get my crap together and figure it out. But it does teach you like, what do you want out of life? Like, are you wanting to keep going with this? What would you change? How are you going to make your life, different and better, knowing all of this now?
Yeah.
So I mean, you just have to roll with it. That's the one thing that I said when I first went to a booth rental situation, because I'd always been a commission stylist, and I told the owners, I said, I'm not afraid of failure, but I kind of don't want to fail. And I said, we're not going to let you fail. Like you're going to be fine. And I have been like, this has been like probably one of the most glorious chapters of my hairstyling life, but like you have to have a sense of like, you know what? F it. Like it's gonna happen and you're just gonna have to deal with it and just learn something from it. And I think that's the big thing, is learning from that past failure and not seeing that consistently as a failure, seeing that as well, that happened and now this is what I've learned from it, because not everything is an actual failure. Sometimes it's just, it needed to happen and it kind of gave you that push to do something different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't agree more. It's like, and I like that you said that it gives you that push because I think sometimes like we need that or else we
Yeah.
just get stuck and we never move forward. And
Yes.
so sometimes I think like that's like, okay, when one door closes, right? Like another's going to open. And then it's like, look at you now, Courtney. I mean, seriously, you got fired from a salon. I can't believe that. Like, they're lost. Like, I just like what? But
Yeah.
like, at the same time, it's like we've all had like crazy things happen, or drama at work, or whatever the case is, and so. I think like for me, yeah, that was like one of the biggest things that I had to learn was being a young stylist. And I think also just that environment of like, I had to be so good, so good. And I had so much pressure to be so good that it's like, you almost like want to break under that and be like, I just don't care anymore. Right. But like, you have to like, I think take it back again, back to your why. Like, why am I doing this? Do I enjoy it? It's something I'm passionate about. And sometimes like, I think we can get in our own heads and get in our own way. And we put too much on ourselves when it's like, let's just make this fun again. Like, let's just make it fun again. And so, my older daughter, they have, I don't know if you had this program. I didn't when I was in school, but at her high school, they have a cosmetology program. So you can graduate high school with your cosmetology license as
Yes.
well. And so she just enrolled, so she'll be doing it. I know. And it's like so exciting to me because um just now I get to like be that mentor for her in that, as well, and just helping her. So she was talking to me about, assisting me some this summer and just kind of like, learning a little bit like behind the chair what I do and things like that. And so that's exciting for me too.
Lori, you're gonna be like literally the best mentor to that girl. Like seriously, just because like I mean, I know you personally, so like I can truly like speak to this. Like you have such a genuine heart and you have such a gift for communication with others. And I think that that's just gonna like do so well because I think that hairstylists up and coming, they need a gentle but firm guidance of like, this is customer service. This is what it is to touch somebody else's life. And this is how you best can do this. Like you really just, open up your heart and listen. And I mean, that's half of the battle is listening. And I think that you're just gonna be like literally the most caring and like sensitive and
Oh,
amazing mentor. I know she's your kid, but like I think it's gonna be so great. She's gonna learn so, so much.
thank you, Courtney. I'm really excited about it. I really am because like, and especially I'm telling you, those letters they wrote me, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is way
Mhm.
too much. And but yeah, it's like you were saying, like when people are like shocked that this is a career and
Yeah.
people actually make a living. And my daughter, she has so much pride in just what I've accomplished. And I just that it feeds my heart, to like see her just being like, oh yeah, my mom, she does hair extensions and she did this and she does that. And oh well, Mrs. American is one of her clients. And like things like that. Like it makes me so happy that like she's so proud of me and that she actually is like considering doing this as a career as well. Yeah, I mean, it does make me, yeah, makes my heart happy. But like, but like also, like you were saying, I think it's important to show her too, like how to make other people feel really good, and
Yeah.
to carry that on as well, because that's important to me and definitely wrapped up into my why to make like that woman in the chair feel amazing. And so I think that's really important to me too, to show her like you can have this a major effect on another person just by giving them that encouragement and making them feel beautiful. Because I mean, everyone wants to feel beautiful. Like, it's part of it. It's part of what we do, and we get to have that effect on people. And I just think it's really important and um not something to be taken lightly, you
Yeah.
know.
I agree wholeheartedly. So if you could go back in time, like what would you tell your future self? Like when you're first starting out, knowing what you know now, like what would you tell yourself when you first started out?
Fail often. fail a lot. Like, just go for it. Fail as much as you can, because the more you're like going for it and doing it, the better you're going to get and the quicker it's going to happen. Because if you're like stuck in this mindset of like, I have to be perfect, and if I'm not, then I'm going to, like everything's going to fall apart. Like, no, just let go of that. Like, write it down, put it in a ball, throw it, whatever you got to do. But like, yeah, no, that would be it. It would just be like, just to go for it, because I think that, and I love my career. I love like where I'm at. And of course, hindsight's 2020, but I probably would have gotten there a lot faster if I hadn't been scared and let that
Mhm.
fear kind of take over. So that would,
Yeah.
I guess, that would be my advice
That's
to myself.
fascinating. I love that actually. Like I did not expect that to come out of your mouth. I should have based off of the topic of this, but like no, and I do agree with that. I think there's a healthy amount of fear that goes into everything that we do. Like obviously you never want to like really completely jump into something without knowing a little bit of the risk, but also remember that reward. Like because that's also on the other side. Like so without big risk is no big reward, and sometimes to get to that big reward, you go through a little bit of the pit of despair, you go through a little bit of the trial and tribulation, both personally and professionally, a lot of times, and it's unfortunate sometimes it's a little reflective of where you're at, personally, sometimes in your business. But I mean, again, we're human, that it is what it is. But like to be able to just say, you know what, I am going to try this. I know I'm a little scared. It's a little trepidatious, but we're going to figure it out. It's probably not going to work the first time around, but we're going to try it again. The Zoom might cut out on you, but here we are again. um, Upgrade. um, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and it's okay. It's okay to do that. So I like that. That's surprising, but I like it. And then I want to know what you would tell future students or current students. Like, I mean, aside from the failure aspect, like what can they expect out of the industry? Like what's coming their way should they choose to go down the cosmetology path?
I think like it's all about understanding like, I guess, who you are, which I know is like tough when you're young and you're trying to figure that out as well. But I think if you can find like a really good mentor, that makes a big difference. For me, I'm the only person in my family that went cosmetology route. So I didn't have like anyone else around me that was doing this. And I think I would have benefited more if I gone into like a place where, or even like, I think now we have so much at our disposal with social media. I mean, all of these things, like how you can connect with people. So maybe you might not know someone personally, but you can like now connect so much easier with people. And so I think like just understanding like, hey, take the class, connect with other people in your field. Don't see everyone as competition, then see it more as like collaboration. Because if you can like find like a mentor or two or three or whatever, like learn from as many people as you can, because then that kind of like, it helps you figure out what is going to be the thing that is your niche, right? Like what is going to be something that, this is what your vibe is, or this is what attracts you in the industry, because there's so many ways that you can go in this industry. I mean, it is expanding, I feel like, every single day. And I think that if you don't want to be just like feeling like lost in the sauce, I think you just have to connect with as many people as possible, and just don't be scared of hearing no, because you're probably going to hear a lot more yeses than no. I think like people are a lot more receptive than what you think they're going to be. And I think like a lot of that is like, it's so at our disposal now. Like, I feel like when I was coming out, it was, I mean, girl, I was on Facebook when you had to be in college. So, I mean, now I feel like everything is so much more like connected, and I think it's going to be really good. I think for people coming out now to just utilize that and connect with as many people as possible. Yeah.
Cool. I like it. Yay. Well, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. Thank you for sharing a lot of your personal, like, just examples and story. I think that's really very effective to people that are listening, especially up and coming, just to hear, that your why is important and that failure is okay, because it is. and just keep in mind, like yourself, like keep yourself in the forefront of everything that you're doing, and not in a selfish way, but just like, what are your needs, and like, what are you needing to do with this industry? How do you tailor it to how you're evolving and changing, as a young lady or a young man or whomever. So I think it's very, very important, and it will change, and it's okay. It's good to change.
Absolutely. I mean, I hope I'm like different 5 years from now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good to change. And I think like that's something that it's like you want to be ever evolving, right? Like, you don't want to just be like that hairstylist that's doing the same thing that everyone else has been doing for the past 10 years and never learning something new. Like, you always want to be changing and growing. And my why 5 years from now is probably going to be different than my why now. And that's okay. So absolutely, Courtney. I kind of want to know what yours is. What's your why?
My why? What is my why? My why is actually to just promote like good hair, good habits, like really like just educate. I'm an educator at heart, which is shocking. I did not think that was going to be my path ever. So that was just kind of a random curveball that got thrown to me, which I'm glad I caught. But yeah, no, I love educating my guests on like everything that's healthy and good for their hair. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday. I don't normally work Mondays, but there it was. And I was talking about a product that I was actually going to possibly take off the shelf. And she goes, "Why would you do that?" I said, "Because honestly, it's not doing what I want it to do for the majority of my guests." And I said, "I don't know why it's there at this point, because it's not something that I'm actively passionate about or wanting to promote to people, because it's going to do more harm than good." And my client like kind of shocked me. She's like, "That's amazing that you would just think that far into like, well, I don't want this product because I don't think it's going to be beneficial." And I said, "Well, why am I going to do something that's going to potentially like harm somebody's hair or whatever?" And I said, you got to think through those things, because I want to give you the best hair possible. So my why is more of like the educational aspect of like, I want to give people the proper tools and the proper education to do their hair the way that they want to do, the way they hoped to do, And part of that is extensions. Part of that is the right product usage. Part of that is like teaching them even just how to shampoo or comb their hair, as basic as that. And I find a lot of fulfillment in that educational aspect. So not only do I want to like watch them come in dejected and send them out feeling like $1 bazillion, because that just makes me so happy, but like I love the education, and I personally consistently try to take more education to promote more in that regard for healthy hair. So stay tuned for a trichologist for me. I don't know, maybe I will one day.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Well, if you are ever in the southern North Carolina or South Carolina area around Charlotte-ish, check out Lori Lawn. So Lori Lawn Hair and Makeup is her Instagram. She's amazing. I actually just saw a couple of things that you posted from, was it a wedding that you just did recently?
Yeah.
For that. So if you're ever in the market, if you're ever getting married, special events, prom, please look her up. If you want some great hair and a wonderful personal touch, give her a call.
I love that.
Yes. All right, girl. Well, thank you so much for spending time with me. I really do appreciate it. And we'll see you hopefully later on another podcast. So
I hope so.
All right, girl. Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Salon Edition Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Salon Edition Podcast and watch these episodes on the Babe Hair Extensions YouTube channel. This podcast is hosted in part by Babe Hair Extensions, and if you are a stylist, head on over to babehairextensions.com for all of your extension needs. We'll see you next time.